My mama used to say, all the glitters ain't gold. I'd rather be blessed.
I'm so thankful for everything God's done for me. He already gave his son so I could claim eternity. To top it off, I get love from my friends and family. But the devil still try to sell me dreams about a bigger life with some better things like all the line.
Hi, and welcome to the Wesley T. Leonard Talk Show, The Law According to Leonard. We're excited because now we're in season 2. We're emanating from the Southside Church of Christ here in the city beautiful of Orlando, Florida. If you're interested in our ministries, our church, our worship, again, you can follow us on our website, and that's at sscoc.org. We also Instagram, SSCOC Orlando, Facebook. You can follow us at SSCOC Orlando. Follow us on Twitter at SSCOC Orlando, and you can watch us, this program and many other events at Southside, on our personal YouTube channel, which is Southside Church of Christ Orlando. And don't forget to download our free app. Go to your PlayStation and find Southside Church of Christ Orlando and download it on your phone, and you can keep up with the happenings here at one of the greatest churches that God has allowed to exist here on this celestial ball we call planet Earth. We're glad you're here. The subject and topic of today's show is when you plan your money, make sure it's God's plan. Our distinguished guest is one of our members here, a longtime member in good standing, Brother David Watson. David, where are you from?
Brother Leonard, I am from Lake City. For those who don't know, that is right north of Gainesville, about 30 minutes. Before you hit I-10, it's going to be right there. You probably stop off to get gas there.
Yeah, and how long have you been on Orlando? You went to school here?
Yes, sir. I came down here back in the year 2000, so believe it or not, it's been 19 years.
And you attended
UCF.
University of Central Florida.
That's right.
Football power now. Nowhere near my Gators, but I think we play them next year. They want to play us. But anyway, David and family. Now, David, you have a family, correct?
Yes, I do. I have a wife and a 2-year-old daughter that runs the house right now.
Absolutely. David, I think, if I recall, I had the distinct honor and privilege of marrying you.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that's
3 years ago.
Yeah, and your sister also attended here, don't you?
Yes, Diana Watson. You'll oftentimes see her sitting next to her. She's been here since she's been down in Orlando as well, since about 2003.
Boy, it's great to have you and your family here.
It's a pleasure.
David, your level of expertise,
yes,
your profession, your occupation now is what?
I am a financial representative. I work with a small company called Smartwealth. Just to give you a brief overview, I help individuals, people, families, business owners develop a personalized financial strategy that helps protect their money from what life may throw at them and help it grow so they can live comfortably and confidently on going forward.
I don't think you'll meet much opposition or argumentation that people need to have a plan for their money and make their money work for them and not just work for their money. But the thrust, the focus of today's show is when you do plan your money. Now that presupposes that people plan their money. First of all, you know as well as I do, particularly in the African American precinct, we need to have more of a mindset to plan with our money. Retirement, other venues. I know you understand that. And one of the things we want to accomplish with our show is, although we have this spiritual angle, but since we're living here on earth, we want to maximize our opportunities in every different genre of our lives. And money is one of those sensitive subjects.
Oh, yes, it is.
But it's one of those subjects that affects everybody.
Right.
God and the Bible had much to say about money. So, Brother David, how can you inculcate financial planning and line it up with the Word of God? What are the benefits? Basically, what do you think the Word commands us to do as good stewards of our money? Because it doesn't matter. I can find a secular financial planner, but I'd much rather have a man or woman who has a biblical base trying to help me plan my money?
What you just said, brother teacher, is where we need to start is understanding how money fits into our overall life and what God has intended for us. I believe that giving back to God is a requirement. There's scriptures that says that, exactly that. And I believe that it's also God's litmus test of how we use what he's given to us. Oftentimes when I sit down with a client, I immediately see how they put God in the order of their everyday lives. And unfortunately, it's usually right at the bottom.
Wow. So when you are sitting down with a client and you're looking at the way they spend their money or use their money, you can ascertain very quickly where God is in that process.
Absolutely.
And you believe, like I believe, that it's a requirement to inculcate God into our financial sovereignty and well-being.
Yes, sir.
What the word teaches, without any successful contradiction, the word teaches, Brother David, as you very well know, being a member here a long time, that why would God give you more when you don't wisely use what he's already given you?
Absolutely.
So I believe many Christians suffer financially because of the malfeasance in the process of which they use their money. God is not in the plan. So are you really saying to me that when you teaching people about financial sovereignty and financial planning, that a part of your teaching is to encourage them to bring God into the process?
Absolutely. Remember back when you used to work with the hospital?
I did.
You used to get a paycheck?
I still get a paycheck.
And you still get a paycheck.
It's a heavenly paycheck.
There you go. Well, some of the things that I notice is automatically there's things that's taken out before even get your money.
Absolutely.
Uncle Sam gets his hand in the pot. Your benefits come out, the 401k. That's already decided for you.
Right.
When we get a hold of our money, we actually have the choice, and God gives us the choice of how we are to spend that money.
Amen.
Or save or invest it. Usually it's the necessities that come out next. Where we're going to stay, the car that we're going to drive, food that we're going to put on our table, and just everyday social life matters. After all those things are said and done, we paid our debts and everything, then we're looking to how do I take care of myself with saving, and I also need to give back to God. So what I try to help folks do is put ourselves first along with God, actually God being first.
Right.
Bring that up to the top. Treat it as Uncle Sam, as something that has to go out.
Right.
And then govern your life accordingly.
That's rich. I appreciate that. So you're telling me that you try to help people prioritize it.
Absolutely. That is missing.
I think anything in life is you basically govern yourself by what your priorities are.
Yes, sir.
So is there a certain percentage that you recommend? Now, I know what the Bible has given us a base in the Old Testament of 10%. That we owe God. This is what I think a lot of people don't get. We owe God. It's not like it's optional. It's like when you go to the restaurant and you get a meal, whatever you consume, you owe them for that.
Right.
Your tip is what signifies how pleased you are with the service. But the service itself, that's not optional. Okay? So what percentage, if any, do you recommend? Of course, the New Testament we're kind of liberal to give whatever amount. It ought to be 10%, in my opinion, ought to be the base.
Yeah.
And then that's why Malachi 3 talks about tithes and offerings.
That's right. Because
your tithes is what you owe. Your offering is what you give. You can't confuse what you owe with what you give. Okay?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't give Uncle Sam anything. He takes it. I owe him as a citizen of this country. Then whatever I give to charities around, that's my offering. But so do you recommend a certain percentage or a certain slice of the pie? Do you do like a pie chart? Or how do you basically dissect, Brother David, in your recommendation? Because I understand you can't make people do anything.
No.
It's their money.
Correct.
But your counsel, your advice is to do what?
The goal that I try to get the clients to recognize is 20%, 15 to 20% going towards saving. And this includes what you tithe to God and your offering. Basically being able to live off about 80% of what you bring in.
I get
you. For the simple reason, you're going to get to a point where you want to stop trading hours for dollars and live off of the fruits of your labor. And God, being so merciful and so kind, He's going to reward us based upon our stewardship, our ability to take the money that He's given to us and use it accordingly. So if we're giving back to Him, He's going to give us in more abundance. And I've heard so many stories, especially here at church, just giving what He's asked us to give over and above, and He gives more over and above than we can ever imagine.
Mm-hmm. But the word, there's so many scripture examples that we can cite.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I love about God that's different from the institute that we put our money in. Like you, I have annuities and money, but no. Sometimes I get a report back and the stock market has done extremely well and my money has grown.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes I get a report back and the stock market has taken a plunge. Mm-hmm. The S&P 500, Poor's and Standards, etc. What I love about God, when you give to God freely, fully, and substantially, I've never got a bad return.
How about that?
Ever. It doesn't happen, folks. It's the best bank in the world. It's the best investment one can make is to give to the kingdom of God. And when you entrust God with your resources, God can do more with our money than we can do with it. So you're telling me part of your profession, occupation, is not only planned for people's retirement, children's college,
right,
vacation plans.
All that comes into play.
But we don't want to forget to put God in our financial planning, because as we cited again and again, when you plan your money, make sure it's God's plan. And you know what's interesting to me, brother, God doesn't mind you spending your money, having your money. He just say, just do right by me first.
That's
right?
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I like the similarities between financial planning and God's plan. Mm-hmm. One, you do have to have God's plan in your financial plan. And two, when you think about it, for us to get to heaven, God gave us a plan of salvation.
Absolutely. In
order for us to have financial success, we have to have a financial plan. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, in either case, you fail, crash and burn.
Boy, and then there's an old axiom that I live by. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan.
That's right.
And if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time.
Every time.
Every single time. So give me your professional opinion in doing this for a number of years. And I'm sure you meet people of every persuasion.
Absolutely.
Some people have no religious affiliation. They have no church affiliation. They're not Christian, Buddhist, anything. They may be agnostic or atheist. Do you find, and I know you don't have empirical data, so to speak, do you find that people who give liberally and substantially to God usually end up doing better financially? Have that been any part of your experience?
I would say, speaking just on my personal experience, mm-hmm. Not being able to be with someone on a daily basis makes it hard. But oftentimes you see the ones that are giving, they freely give that testimony. Mm-hmm. How many times have we had someone stand up in church not knowing where their next paycheck is going to come from, or a bill come up and they're not knowing how they're going to cover it? They still pay their tithes, they still pay their office, and somehow, some way, it made it through.
Yeah.
Even when I sit down with clients, have some of those same testimonies that happen. I believe that the power of God works in us doing just exactly what He tells us to do. Yeah. And yes, I believe that people are much better off by doing so and just having the heart of giving versus not.
And you can only really speak personally, as you mentioned. I can give a personal testimony. My wife and I decided a few years back that we're going to do right by God in our giving. At least 10% of what we make. Beyond, but at least we're not going to. And, you know, things happen, you know.
Yep.
Transmission, tuition, illness. You suffer all kind of maladies in life, unplanned, unsolicited. You do know you don't have to solicit trouble, right? You do.
Oh, they'll find you.
Those of you out there in YouTube land, you know you don't have to sign up for trouble. Trouble has your address. Trouble has your email account. And Trouble knows where you live and has your phone number.
That's right.
But we decided in a real way that we would do right by God in our giving, 10% or more. And I can unequivocally state, without hesitation or reservation, since we have done that, and I just happen to be the person that writes our checks for the church and for God, our lives, I'm talking about materially now, not that that's the most important thing, has done nothing but being enriched. Our health has been enriched, and I can find a direct correlation between what I did with my money by God and the bountiful way God blessed me and my family with money. And it just lines up with what the word says. If you do right by God, God will do right by you.
That's right.
And you get in this inexhaustible habit of giving, right? You said, I give to God, so then God gives back to me. I give to God, and God gives back to me. I give to God, I give back, God gives back to me. And the next day, you know, I don't even miss what I'm giving. Okay?
That's right.
So, because it becomes habit, routine, and that money is not even in your plan of going to Disney World or going on a cruise or buying, that's God's money.
That's right.
And I would encourage not only the Southside members, which we do on a regular basis, but all of you out there in YouTube land, if you can just align yourselves with God's plan, with your money, there are blessings in store for you that you can't even imagine. And remember now, God doesn't always do in-kind blessings. Okay, you know what in-kind blessing is? In-kind is when you give a gift and they credit you with a credit, same amount, maybe not in that same area, but in another area. You see what I'm saying? I bought a bunch of clothes, so they gave me a voucher for $1,500. That's the in-kind. What God does, He bless you not in kind, He bless you all kind.
That's a better blessing right there.
It's a better blessing. See, in kind is limited.
Right.
All kind is limitless, which means God then, man, my health has been blessed. My family has been blessed. My family is protected. And I just am encouraged that we have members at this church. God has blessed us with a fairly large congregation in the sense, and we have so many people with so many gifts and talents and ability. It's been my distinct honor and privilege to have you as a financial planner, and I love how you package what you said in your planning and putting God in that plan. That's been a great. David Watson, brothers and sisters, again, where do you work now? Where do you?
I work at Smartwealth. It's right over in Maitland, so it's not too far. And even if getting there is a problem, I can meet you online.
Okay, so if I want to be a millionaire, I need to call you. What about if I want to be a thousandaire?
Still call me.
Okay. Oh, boy, it's been my distinct pleasure and honor to have Brother David Watson, a good brother, young brother at this church. Listen, again, you've been watching The Law According to Leonard, the Wesley T. Leonard Talk Show. This is Season 2, Show number 2. Follow us at Southside on our website again, sscoc.org, Instagram, SSCOC Orlando, Facebook, at SSCOC Orlando, Twitter, we're at SSCOC Orlando. Watch us on YouTube, on our own channel, Southside Church of Christ Orlando, and download our free app from your PlayStation, the Southside Church of Christ app. Thank you for watching, and catch us again the next time on The Law According to Leonard. Ciao bella.